All right, so we're going to do this Super Bowl advertisement analysis. You've got it open on your Chromebook or whatever. And let me just go over this with you because this is not like the complete story. Okay, we need to talk a little bit more about it. So create a slides or PowerPoint presentation. That part we need to stick with. So you're going to be creating a presentation, right? Either PowerPoint or slides so I can open it so everybody can, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Follow the instructions on the attachment. We'll look at it in just a minute. And here's where I want to talk to you about and need to maybe explain a little. Once you have your, what you're going to do is you're going to pick a Super Bowl commercial, something like that. We'll get to that part in just a minute. Once you make your presentation, I want you to create and record a Google Meet. Is what I put in here because that's what I use most of the time. All right? Don't use Zoom because some of the stuff doesn't work sometimes on our, anyway. But I want you to go ahead and either use a Google Meet or do any of y'all use Screencastify? Have you used anything like that? Or Flipgrid, anything like that? Okay, you can use those, but it will be simpler for all of us if you'll use a Google Meet. Now I know you know how to use those. You know how to join one when you send an invitation, and you probably know how to create one. If not, they're extraordinarily easy to create. You can Google how to do a Google Meet. Okay, they're very easy. You basically just put in meet.google.com. Like I say, just pull up, there are 47 million videos on how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, it's very simple. I'm not going to give you something that you have to be a techie to do. All right, anyway. So, do a Google Meet and just record it for yourself. You know, when I do them, sometimes I record them and then I post them on your classwork. There's nobody in there but me. Okay, you can do that. You don't have to invite anybody. You join yourself and all that. Anyway, again, if you don't know how to do it, watch YouTube videos on how to do it. It's not that big of a deal to do. So, what I want you to do is record yourself presenting, and that's the key, presenting your slideshow. All right? I'm like, again, when I've done these to upload for like class directions or something like that, you take present, you pick it, again, 47 blue million videos on how to do it if you don't know how to do it. Nothing too technical here. But you're going to present your slideshow. Once you get that done, okay, once it's finished, if you'll wait a few minutes, it will upload a recording because you got to record yourself doing it. Okay? You got to record yourself doing it. And it will upload a video to your Google Drive. Then you can click on it, you can change the name of it, whatever you want to do there, save it, and then you can upload that for the assignment. Okay? So you can either upload that or you can click it and make a link for it, put the link in a Google Doc, and upload the doc for your assignment. One way or another, I have to be able to access your presentation without requesting your permission. Okay? So that you got to watch out for that because sometimes when you just put the link in there, then I have to request permission to see it, and then it turns into an email back and forth and all that kind of stuff. Got it? So make it where anybody who has access to this can watch it because we're going to. Now, that'll be on your drive and all that kind of stuff. Now, let's talk about this, okay? So go ahead and open that up so you can look at it on yours while I'm going over this because I don't expect you to read it from there. What we're going to do, from the list below, choose a commercial that aired during Super Bowl 50. There's a big long list. These are all the different commercials. Got it? The teacher who sent me this list said she believes she's got them all. She wasn't sure, but she thinks she's got them all. All right. So if you didn't watch the Super Bowl or whatever, that's fine. You don't have to. Go through, click through some of these. This is going to take a while, folks. Okay, this is not something you're going to do in an hour. I'll just tell you that right now. If this is a presentation, it's going to take a while to do it. This is not something you want to try to put off. You need to get right on it. But all kinds of different commercials. Go through, you find what you're looking for, and that's the one you analyze. So what do I mean by analyze? Here's what we're doing. You're going to create a presentation that shares the entire commercial. Okay, this is where we get into that present mode, and this is where you get to really stretch your wings and fly. Okay? Because in your presentation, when you're presenting your PowerPoint, right, or your slide deck, or whatever they call them, everybody calls it different things. When you're presenting that, we want you to go back and forth or whatever, but the commercial needs to be on there. So you can point exactly to what you're talking about in your presentation. You with me? This needs to really be thought out. And like I said, it's going to take a while. That's why we're working on it the rest of the way. You can see on my calendar here, we're working on it. This is not due until Friday. I'm giving you plenty of time to do this because it's going to take a while. But it's presentation, it's part of what we do. All right. So, what we're going to write about in our presentation, we're going to talk about the commercial we picked. You're going to have the link to the commercial on your first slide. Okay, you're going to break down the commercial using Soapstone, which we're all familiar with. And you need to be as specific as you possibly can. Now, speaker, I've got all this on here, but I want to go over it with you. All right, what's the name of the company? What do you know about the company? What's its reputation? Remember, it's just not, we're not just going to do little simple one-word answers here. This is analysis. Okay? Occasion. A lot of stuff to think about on the occasion. And don't just say Super Bowl commercial or Super Bowl. All right, there's a lot more to it than that. Go beyond just saying it was a Super Bowl ad. Who's the audience? It's not just people who watch the Super Bowl. You with me? That's the simple answer. That's not analysis. Okay? Purpose. What's the purpose? Well, to sell something, of course, right? Sometimes, sometimes not. It's always to sell something, but what? Is it to get you to do something? Is it to create brand recognition? Whatever. We know it's to sell something. So what we're really looking for here is more of the how. Okay? We know the end goal of all these commercials is to sell something. But the how is what we're getting at. Okay? The subject, what actually happens in the commercial? Explain that with as much detail as you can. And then what's the tone? There's a lot of different tones in different commercials. And you'll see that if you watch a few of them. You know, watch as many as you want. That whole list on there, each commercial is a minute or less. Right? So go through till you find, look at more than just one. Don't just go, oh, here, I'm going to do this one just to get this done. Some people may do that. That's okay. That's what people do sometimes. All right. Now let's go on down here to the next part. This is where it gets a little more tedious, if you will. The Soapstone we've done so many times that you should be pretty familiar with how to do all that. Now we're going to look at the appeals. Remember what the appeals are? What were the three appeals that we've talked about? Ethos, pathos, logos, right? Appeals to what? Appeals to character of the speaker. Appeals to the sense of right and wrong, good and evil, right? Appeals to emotion. Appeals to logic and reason. What appeals do they use? What do they focus on? All right? So what are the techniques they're using here? Go beyond just saying ethos, pathos, and logos. As a matter of fact, this teacher doesn't have what I do. I do not want to see these words anywhere in your presentation. Do you hear me? I do not want to see ethos, pathos, or logos in your presentation. Not those words. You're talking about how, the advertiser is appealing to something, that's how you say it. Do not use those three words. Okay. Can you identify any logical fallacies? Now, we haven't talked much about logical fallacies in here. You can click on this link, and I have, and it goes to a really good explanation. And, you can look, there will be, 200 logical fallacies. But then there are about 20 that are more common. Okay. But what I want you to do is just kind of take an overview of the logical fallacies. Like I said, we haven't spent much time on that in here at all. We just kind of touched on it a little bit here and there, and that was all. But incorporate your understanding of logical fallacies that are used in these commercials. Okay? Now, let me tell you something. we talk about logical fallacies in argument and so on, and we'll get more into that as the year progresses. We get into the actual argument essay, we talk about logical fallacies and so on. But, excuse me, advertisers use logical fallacies all the time. Okay? Politicians use logical fallacies all the time. The fact that they're logical fallacies doesn't stop people from using them. They use them because, quite frankly, the vast majority of the public don't understand that it's a logical fallacy, and they fall for it anyway. So, they're in there. All right. So what's the goal of the ad? What's the message of the ad? All right. How effective was it? Oops, didn't mean to do that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how effective was it for the intended audience? So on and so forth. Okay. And then explain in writing how you think it has various levels of effectiveness. Here are all of your links to the commercials. Now, this is something that you are going to upload to fulfill the assignment. Yes, right, I get that. And I'll be watching them. Okay, and I will give you a rubric later, but I'll tell you that the rubric is based on this, and it's the depth of your analysis. All right? You can get a very, very, very small portion of the grade. Very, very small portion of the grade will be on, presentation, right? You with me? The key is that you include all of the elements, and you include them with in-depth analysis. If it's fancy and pretty and all that kind of stuff, that's great, but that's not like the big determining factor. So don't worry if you don't have the technological skills to put together some brilliant presentation. That's not what this is about. It's about going through the process and then presenting your results. I hope that makes sense for you. What questions do you have for me? If you have anything, you can email me. And you folks at home, if you don't get it, you can email me. And some people will just read the instructions and won't watch the video, and they will do a lot of stuff wrong. Happens every time. And then when they get a bad grade, they say, why did I get a bad grade? And I have to reply back in the email, watch the video. Anyway, so you guys are here. You don't have to watch the video, but you can. All right, we're good to go? Okay, I'm gonna turn you loose. Get out those headphones, start going through those commercials, see what you like. I would suggest you make notes and watch several of the commercials. Make notes on ones that you like, for whatever reason, and you might want to analyze. Then you can come back to those, okay? All right, here we go. Oh, this is gonna be due Friday morning, date 15. I think I put that on the assignment, didn't I? The due date time, okay.